sure we're going to have some stragglers coming in. But I want to just let you know first, I have 2 people coming in who are going to do sign language today. Okay? This will just be an experience for you, also for me, and also for them. All right? To work on communicating these ideas. Okay? And she also has agreed to say all the bad words that I say in sign language. So we'll see what we come up with. But yeah, you're going to record yourselves doing this, right? So they're just recording themselves and how they're doing and how effectively they're doing and that kind of thing. And make sure they're getting the words right. Okay. Someone mentioned the review for the exam. Okay. This was brought up, and I think it is a good question. Okay. So I just want to draw your attention to the last couple of weeks of the course. Okay. So next week we're going to do a lot of review. That whole week will be a review. Okay. So we're going to backtrack and start to talk about everything we talked about, right? Which is quite a bit. Okay. Since the last exam, West Central Africa and Europe, slavery as we discussed it, religion and empire, and colonialism. Right? Now, when we did the test last time, I gave you a take-home. It won't be that format for this one. Okay? It'll be, I'm going to give you a review sheet with 2 essays. And you have to choose one of those essays and write on one of those essays. Okay? And you need to bring that essay into class to turn it in. That's 50 points. That's half your grade is going to be that essay. I'm not taking late essays. I'm not. So I wish everyone was here. I'm going to say that again next week, I'm sure. I will not take them. So print them out and turn them in on time. Okay? I will say it several more times to remind you. I'm not taking it. So look at it like this. If you do well on the question part of the test, and then you don't turn in the essay, what is your, let's say you get 50 out of 50 on the questions, and you don't turn in an essay, what's your final score?
50.
What is a 50?
F.
Okay. So, okay, you take your A, all right? We'll make sure to write that up for you effectively, all right? I'll be happy to do that one, by the way. All right? So again, just remember, all right? And we're going to take the time to review, to go through things to make sure we're all on the same page, all right? Then you got an exam on the 17th, and it's going to cram up because the very following, the 19th, you got to come in with the description of your final project. Okay. At least a page description. It doesn't have to be very long, but you need to be able to describe what you're doing for your final project on the 19th. Okay. So a lot of things are coming due. Okay. And I'm telling you now because when it occurs, when it unfolds, if you're not prepared, I'm not gonna. It's just gonna hurt your grade. Okay. And some of you still haven't turned in the essay portion of the test we took on the last. Okay. And you're gonna see it's gonna hurt you. It's just like I'm saying. That's 50% of your grade. So if you miss it or miss out, it really puts you in some bad shape. Okay. Yeah.
How many pages was this essay?
It's gonna be 1.5 to 2 pages, double spaced. Okay. What else? Are there other questions? Yes.
I'm sorry, but I can't find my syllabus anymore. So what is the final project?
I'm not going to re-explain that because it's online. It's been online from day one. All you got to do is look. You know how to get on Oasis, right? And just go to where it says syllabus. If you click on that, it'll take you right to it. Right? See how I got to this one where it says course syllabus right there. Okay? So you're going to have to look at that and remind yourself about it. And I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with the final project. We will talk about it more. I'm not going to go through and say exactly what this thing is all over again. Okay? Because the information's there. Yes?
Okay. Sorry, just clarification because you did just say a whole lot. So for that essay that we're writing, that's our actual test?
You're doing an essay and you're going to do questions.
And we're going to do questions. Okay, so so the questions will be in class and the essay is something we take.
Turn in. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. I'm sorry. I didn't clarify that. Yes, that's correct. Any other questions?
Okay, so we have the exam, the written exam, and the multiple choice. Then we have a project, and the final project is due
Well, you're going to start presenting them in the last 2 weeks of our class, 4:24 to 5:3. From that point on, we'll present. On the 19th, I'm going to give out a list. It'll be first come, first serve. You sign up for the day you want to present. Okay?
And we will be talking about, like, specifically what goes on the project today?
No.
Oh, okay.
If the format-wise, what you need to do format-wise, look on the syllabus. Familiarize yourself with it if you haven't looked at it in a while. Only things I'll talk about via the project. I'll speak to the project next week, probably quite a bit. But if you're not familiar with it, read the thing. I'm not going to stop and tell you right now because it's online. Just make sure to familiarize yourself with it. And I just can't stress enough, you all. It's getting close to the end game here, right? And a lot of you made some very critical analysis of the exam. So I made some adjustments in how I graded that exam because many people said, well, just we didn't do this or we didn't do that. Okay. Now, so that's 30% of your grade was that midterm. Another 30% is going to be that final exam that's coming up. That project is 20%. Class participation is another 20%. That is your grade. So you can start to figure out where you're going to fall out, right? In this, right? And sometimes projects can make or break people, right? But really, we want to take this very, very seriously. So we will talk more about the projects next week, but I think at this point it's best for you to just review this, to have a feel for it so you know what to ask. Okay? Any other questions about what's coming up, how grades are being done, these kinds of things?
Final exam, is it just from what we have done since the last exam?
Correct. Yep, it'll just be everything from chapter 5, beginning on 228, all the way up through what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
Okay? We've had some major themes there, right? And there's been some stuff that we've had to look at, right? So we want to pay good attention to that. All right? Today, any other questions? Okay. So,
I had a question, but it's not dealing with what you just told us. For 4345 this week, that Joseph Conrad thing on Oasis, was that just recently put up? Because I went to go read it last week and it wasn't up on Oasis.
No, it's been there for quite a while.
Oh, you know what?
You might have missed the language because it says, hold on. It says, Conrad, no, it's right there.
Okay.
Conrad.
It wasn't up there Monday, but maybe.
No, it's been up. It's been up at least for, I did put it up late. I didn't put it up till maybe like February, but it's been up. It's been up for at least a month or two.
Yeah, I just didn't recognize it. Okay.
When the sub was here, we were trying to find the slides that was after 71. Where is that at?
After 71.
Because
She said you had
yeah, and
one something. She said this last stop at 71, so she didn't know what you were talking about.
I have no idea. She probably didn't look at the split, right? Because half the notes are in one section, the other half are in the next section.
right, where's the other half?
Right there. Right below the first half.
She was in part two.
It only went up to 72.
I don't know. Everything that we've covered here, there are only 72 slides, I think, on this section. Because I had to split it because it's too big. No. Yeah, I split it. So it only goes up to 72, but that's the end. That's it. No, what am I talking about? Yeah, it goes to 140. So I don't know what she missed. But it's there. Yes?
So while we're doing the review for the exam, we're going to be talking about like the projects.
Yeah, we will. As I've said to everyone several times, is just make sure that you review what the project entails, so that you know what it entails, right? It's online. It's right there in the on Oasis where you can access it and double check via the syllabus, right? You got to click over here to the left, the syllabus thing, right? And then you just go there, and it'll take you to just click on syllabus, and then it details the final project, the whole project. Why have we been doing these weekly activities, classroom activities, right? And this week we were just going to pass. We won't do that one this week, right? But why have we been doing them? Well, that's because just to prepare you for this, right? So that means this final project is going to be I'm very much going to be looking to see what people are doing. So if you try to blow smoke up my butt, guess what? I'm going to blow smoke back, right? So how does that look, sign language?
What?
Blow smoke up. Wait, what? Hold on.
It's like that.
Y'all cut this out, yeah? Cut it out. Right? But seriously, I mean, your art students, and for this, I really wanted to see what you can do. I want you to put your best stuff. Because it's not for me, because potentially this is stuff you use, you put in a portfolio, this is stuff you use when you're looking for jobs. It has a lot of other segues where you can take advantage of it. Some of you guys who are artists, who maybe do music, this is a great opportunity. Or someone who does dance, this is a great opportunity. Don't do it for me. I mean, yeah, do it to get a good grade, but think, how can I make this be beneficial? Right? Okay? Your hand was up.
I just want to ask, this is an individual project? This is an individual project?
Yeah. Yeah, these are individual. If you want to do something in a group, again, you need to come with the 2 people or however many people you have and let me know what you're planning, what you were interested in doing. I'll tell you, I can go to say, well, no, I wouldn't do this, or yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Okay. But the thing to remember, if you're thinking about working and pairing up, is that I need to see both people's kinds of ideas reflected. All right. Any other questions about any of this? Okay. Have you all had a chance to look at any of the documents so far for this week?
Yeah.
Okay. Which ones? I mean, and what did you think was important? What did you find? What didn't you find? What were your thoughts about all of it? All right. Well, let me pick one to look at first, and then maybe we'll talk some more.
Like 48.
All right. And this is the one, Hearts of Darkness. Did anyone get a chance to look at this one? Okay. It's a bit of a thicker read, but I really want you to take some time to go through it. Who's heard of this book before? Joseph Conrad's book, Hearts of Darkness. Has anyone heard of this before? Anyone read this in high school? What? Really? That's just a shock. That's a real shock. Well, how about Apocalypse Now? Anybody see the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? He knows it. A couple people know it, right? It's based on this book. Okay. And the storyline, if you've ever seen it, you know, it's about this colonel who works for the United States, right? He goes back to Vietnam, and he goes upriver to a place where he's not supposed to go, where technically, you know, we weren't allowed by law to go into Laos and Cambodia, but we go anyway, right? And what he finds when he goes there, right? What kinds of things happen to this colonel, right? From the story, if you remember the story.
He goes insane and becomes a chief. He
goes insane and becomes a traditional chief, right? This is a West Point graduate, a special guy who has the very, a lot of military aptitude, and he ends up going up into Laos. He loses his mind, I guess, and then becomes a chief, right? What kinds of things is he doing? He's up there, he's taking the law into his own hand, right? Religious powers in his own hand, right?
He was taking over and judging them,
he goes kind of insane. If you look, and there's a scene where Charlie Sheen, or Martin Sheen is reading his whole life, and he's going through, and he's like, this guy was a West Point graduate. He could have done this, he could have done that. He could have done all these great things, and how in the hell does he turn into what he became, right? That story is based on a sailor from England who goes up the Congo River. And ends up the Congo River. And they go to find a guy who's trading in ivory in the Congo River region. And he loses, it's the same story. The guy loses his mind, and he's up in the Congo, and he loses his mind. This book is only 95 pages long. And it's considered a classic, right? And I'm shocked that, this is not a book, again, that should be read. This is a book that should be read. When I was in high school, we read this book. It's only 95 pages long. That's part of the thing. It's just short, right? But the thing is, okay, it was written in 1895, so there's some really kind of problematic depictions of African people there, right? And who's ever heard of Chinua Achebe? Anybody heard that name before? Who?
I think so.
How you spell that? C-H-I-N-U-A.
Was he an author?
Yes. Very important. Right, he wrote Things Fall Apart. Anybody heard that book?
Fall Apart, yeah.
So you all have read that. So he read Conrad's book, right? he read Joseph Conrad's book. And he got very upset by what he read, right? Because he said, and this is what he says, and this is why I think you ought to take the time to just read this article. The point of my observation should be quite clear by now. Namely, that Joseph Conrad was a thoroughgoing racist. That is simple truth is glossed over in criticisms of his work due to the fact that white racism against Africa is such a normal way of thinking that its manifestations go completely unremarked. Now that's a pretty scathing account, right? He rips into Joseph Conrad and basically says this entire book that most of the Western world considers a classic, and they do, is exorbitantly racist in its account, right? So, I mean, and why does he say this kind of thing, right? And a lot of this will come from you all reading this. Yeah.
So is this basically like a reflection of how he feels about the book?
If I can hear you talk and you're talking too loud, please, especially with other students.
Is this basically a reflection of how he feels about the book?
It is. It's a book review in a sense, right? If you've ever, one of the best ways, and don't let my secret out here, if you really want a cheat sheet and you didn't read the whole book, the best way to do it is to look up the book reviews. All right? Now don't. If you get in trouble, that's on you. Okay? That's you. But no, it's better. Spark Notes is laughable. Book review, where the scholarly person reviews the book, will give you tons of good information, right? But you didn't hear this from me, and it wasn't